Welcome to another episode of Merge Extra. I'm excited for today's episode. Today is Lupus Awareness Day, and we are joined in the studio by a strong and beautiful woman who happens to have lupus. Her name is Mazzan Farsi. So welcome, Mazzan.
Hi.
Can you tell us a bit about yourself before we start?
Depends what you want to know.
Yani, give us a brief.
Mazzan Farsi. I've had lupus since I was 4.
Oh.
I run my own family business, basically co-run with my brother.
Mm-hmm.
And I decided to start the initiative, I think 2 years ago, during COVID. It started during COVID.
Initiative for lupus.
Exactly.
Okay.
To spread awareness.
To spread awareness. Okay. For those of us who don't know, can you tell us what lupus is?
Okay, so basically lupus is having my own immune system attack my organs. Basically, when a normal human being has an infection, your immune system can tell the difference between infections and any different particle or something that comes into your body. But when it comes to lupus, our immune system cannot tell the difference between something that it should actually fight and what are good tissues and good cells, or the organs that it should not fight.
Okay. I've heard that lupus is difficult to diagnose.
Yeah.
Can you explain a bit about why that is?
Because there's no specific test that can be done that shows you that this is lupus or not. They need to go through different tests, different scans, different diagnoses until the doctor actually figures out that it's lupus.
Okay.
Because we have so many different symptoms. And one thing you should know, Leana, is that no two patients are exactly the same when it comes to lupus. Some of them have it in their skin, some of them have it in their organs and different parts of organs. For example, what I always tell people when I'm explaining it to them is that when people have blood pressure or let's say diabetes, you can tell what would happen if it goes high or low, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
It's a general thing kind of with everyone. But when it comes to lupus and we have what we call a flare-up, when it starts basically becoming active, you cannot tell what's going to happen to this patient, what organ is going to get affected, or how he's going to fall sick. Every single time it's surprise.
Even for the same patient, it's a surprise, like from one flare-up to the other, even that is different?
Exactly.
Okay, so can you tell us about your lupus story? Because I heard that it's, like you just said, it's very difficult to diagnose. How were you diagnosed?
I was diagnosed when I was about 4 years old. So basically, I started with getting a very high fever.
Okay.
And I started losing... Basically, my mother is the one that told me this because I don't remember it since I was very young. She said I started losing a lot of weight. And I started losing my hair.
Okay.
And my fever would not go down no matter what they did. And then I started getting my lymph nodes, which are like the glands in my neck, started swelling up. So many different things were happening, like one after the other. And then there was a professor that passed away, Professor Abu Ali.
Allah yarhamah.
Ameen, inshallah. He was the one that when he saw me, he told my mom, I hope to God it's not what I think it is. Because back then, not a lot of children were diagnosed with lupus.
Okay.
So then he kept doing test after test, trying to make sure. So everything he did showed him that, yes, it might be lupus.
Okay.
But then he wanted to make sure, and he did one extra last test. And he told my mom, take your daughter, go home, and I'll call you once the results are out. But he kept repeating, I hope it's not what I think it is. And then when the test results came out, he called my mom, and he's like, unfortunately, yes. Sadly, your daughter is diagnosed with lupus. And back then, my mom had no clue what lupus was.
Okay.
And can you imagine, Leana, like back then we're talking, I'm 33 now. I was diagnosed when I was 4. So until today, there is no awareness. Can you imagine back then what she must have felt like hearing about something that no one ever knew here?
And maybe not enough resources to deal with that as well in the country. Were there?
No, exactly. Like there was no Google, there was no internet, there was nothing. They barely had books that explained what lupus is.
in the world, let alone in Oman. So this is in general, يعني.
Exactly. But
Okay.
then she decided, like any parent, like, no, I'm not going to give up. Obviously, it's probably a misdiagnosis, or, you know, there is a treatment. And
Okay.
she took me, sorry, to different parts of the world trying to find the treatment. But the good thing was that when we went to Mayo Clinic in America, we went to the UK and another hospital there. They had bookstores that offered books.
On lupus.
Yes.
Okay.
So she kept buying, gathering these books, you know, and she kept going through one book after the other, trying to read and understand, what does my daughter have? And she also took the opportunity while being there to speak to the doctors to help get introduced to other patients that had lupus.
Okay.
So she could understand, what should I do? What shouldn't I do? How can I let my daughter live a normal life without feeling that there is something wrong with her?
Okay.
So I was lucky in comparison to others. I always believe that I was lucky. I had a mom and siblings that actually did this. They tried to give me the best life possible when it comes to living normally, but with also taking precautions to keep me safe, trying to avoid things I shouldn't.
Okay.
Like when I had to start on medications, for example, there are some medications where the doctors explained to my mother, like, you should cut down on sugar. You should definitely cut down on salt.
Oh,
'Cause
okay.
it affects, in a way, prednisolone or cortisone to reduce the pain and kind of reduce the symptoms until it's able to be controlled. So this medication, when you have a lot of salt or sugar when taking it, it creates a lot of weight, unnecessary weight. But it's not necessarily fat, it's water retention.
Okay.
So they explained to my mother that if you want that to be avoided, you should cut down on salt and sweets. So what my brothers and mom did, they actually did that for the whole house. It wasn't just my meals.
So they all changed their diet to fit with your requirement, يعني.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So this is why I said I was lucky when it came to this. And this is why growing up, I felt that I got this and it was a gift that I got.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. So I decided that it's something I could do in return because it felt good to have. Maybe me doing this and helping spread awareness, educating people, educating family. When I try to help support emotionally, at least I would be able to give back something that I got in return.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is what you're doing now with all the lupus, and you really are. Like, for example, I had no idea what this was until I met you.
And it's funny, يعني, a lot of people said that we've known you for years and we didn't even think you had an illness.
Because of something you actually mentioned now. You mentioned that you try to live a normal life as possible. I don't know if I can say this on air, but like we were just planning a Jabal Akhdar trip and you told me that you can't join because you were in hospital a few days ago and you were tired. But the thing that hit me is you just said that. And in the same phone call, you're like, okay, next week we go kayaking, like we go, you know, you're planning the next trip and everything. So, yani subhanAllah, in my mind, I was like, okay, it does bring her down in certain parts, but you make up for it and you'll go on the next thing. You do try to live as normal as you can.
A lot of by the way, one thing I learned, I never thought that there were so many lupus patients in Oman.
We do have a lot of lupus patients here.
I don't know the exact numbers and statistics,
Okay.
but we do.
Uh-huh.
We do. It's shocking, the amount of numbers, the people that keep texting me, the people that keep contacting us through Lupus Oman, the initiative.
Lupus Oman is her initiative. It's an Instagram page as well. Do you guys have other forms of social media?
Twitter, Facebook.
So Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Lupus Oman.
And we do have a WhatsApp group, but currently the WhatsApp group is only in Arabic to support people emotionally. You know, like if someone needs to vent, someone needs to talk, we're there. But if we have enough people that are English speakers, we're willing to start another group specifically for English speakers. Because we have had requests that we need people to talk to, but we currently don't have enough amounts of people.
Okay.
So I try to communicate with them through Instagram or my personal number just to support them and help them out here in Oman.
Okay. So people have been contacting you through Lupus Oman?
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
And big numbers, yani. Bigger than you expected.
Yes. And it's funny that a lot of them kept saying, we thought we were alone. We didn't know other people had this in Oman. We thought this illness is rare. I
Okay.
don't like using the word illness, but yeah, I have to admit it is. So a lot of
Okay.
them said that we thought it was rare. We didn't know that there were people like us, but now we feel we're not alone.
Okay.
So that itself was comforting to know that people felt we have support. We have
So the
people
community that you guys have built, that you specifically have built through this platform, yani.
I started speaking about it. I kind of put myself out there. And I remember specifically initially when I started, I was very nervous because, Leanna, you must know how our community is.
Yes.
For
yes,
a
yes.
girl to speak about her illness, for a girl to put herself out there in public, her pictures, going out, coming. It's not like there's something wrong with it, but people don't accept it easily.
Yeah.
But funny enough, my own family were like, you know what, go for it. You don't know who you're going to be helping.
Exactly.
And you're not doing anything wrong. You're doing it for a cause.
And for a very good purpose.
So, thank you. So then when I started doing it and I got people contacting me and a couple of girls, that's how Lupus Oman,
Took off.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
So they decided, we started talking through the group, through WhatsApp, and we started venting to each other, supporting each other, being there for each other. But then it got to a stage where we were like, now what?
Okay.
Now what do we do? Okay, we're here for each other. How are we supposed to get out there even more? That's how Lupus Oman started on Instagram.
Okay.
And then we decided, you know what? We're going to gather the common questions that the girls have in the group. Because as I previously mentioned in the beginning of this interview, is that there are no two patients that are exactly the same.
Okay.
So we decided we'll gather the common questions or the most frequent questions that are asked, and we'll search for doctors that could help answer these questions.
Okay.
Because we didn't want to research and put answers ourselves that might
Be wrong or something. So
Ex-
like you put like a reference, yani, for people.
Yeah.
Okay.
The doctor, where he works and his specific job title. We started trying to finding doctors
Here in Oman locally?
locally. But then the good thing is we actually got support. Doctors from abroad started communicating with us saying, we want to do live sessions with you. We want to
Okay.
communicate. We want to help. How can we help? And we got messages from people around the Gulf, around the Arabic countries, saying, we're proud of you. Good job. Your page is actually helping. Your page is very supportive. We wish we have something like that in our own countries.
Okay.
So currently, since the day Lupus Oman started until today, everything that was done, whether it was events, because last year we held the first event to happen in Oman, which included patients, their families, and doctors. It was
Well,
like
I
a
remember
mini-
that event was a very nice event.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
the first time it ever happened. But the thing is, everything that happened since Lupus Oman was born, as I could say, was self-funded. It was me and the girls.
Okay.
We did not get support from anywhere. All the effort that was done, the support we got was from the doctors that gave us information and gave us their valuable time.
Okay.
But we've had a lot of struggles
Okay.
because some doctors did not want to help when it came, and I don't blame them, saying that we don't have time. And when we wanted to hold more events, we wanted to support patients. Some of them don't have the finances, for example, to do a lot of things when it comes to their health, whether it's getting medications from the hospitals or pharmacies out of the governmental sectors.
Okay.
We couldn't do that because we couldn't register
Register for?
basically as an actual initiative registered under the government.
Okay.
Because there were a lot of restrictions or a lot of rules, and the main characters in Lupus Oman are 3 people. It's just me and my colleague called Shayma and Wafha as well. And all 3 of us have our own jobs, our own businesses,
Okay.
or we have our own life, as I could say. So we couldn't constantly keep up with everything.
Okay.
We tried, and there were a lot of people that tried to support, but they said, unfortunately, there were companies that wanted to fund us as well
Okay.
to create events, but they said you need to be legally registered under a governmental sector.
Okay. Were you able to get that now?
No, not yet.
So up until now, you guys are not.
No, not
Okay.
yet. We hope so someday. If anyone can help guide us or ease things out for us, that would be amazing. But currently, we're still not. But we're still going ahead with trying to support people emotionally. If people want to find doctors that are specialized in something, we try to guide them on where to go and what to do.
Okay.
Because one thing I did not explain about lupus is that it's not a single doctor that you actually go to.
Okay.
Yes, there's a main doctor that you follow up with, but there are so many other doctors that are included in one patient's file.
Because of the fact that it's an autoimmune disease that attacks different parts of the body?
Exactly.
Okay.
Like, I'll speak for myself. As Mazzan, I have to go to a neurologist.
Okay.
I have to go to an ophthalmologist, which is an eye doctor.
Okay.
I have to get checked with the kidney doctor, as well as my rheumatologist, which is for my lupus, the blood problem, the autoimmune system, basically. So that itself is like, what, 4 or 5? I even lost count.
I think it's at 4 or 5 so far.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm thinking of the medical bills. Is there...
The government here, that's one thing we're thankful for, but the appointments take forever. Like, between my eye appointment and my rheumatologist appointment is a good 2-3 months sometimes.
Oh, so months for you to get an appointment?
Yes, sometimes it's even longer.
Okay.
So some patients actually cannot wait and decide to go to private sectors.
Okay. And there's where the medical bills might be stacking up.
Exactly.
Okay.
And also keep in mind, the insurance companies do not give people with lupus insurance unless it's the normal checkups. Anyone with autoimmune diseases, regardless of lupus, don't get insurance.
Okay.
Because the medical bills pile up and they're not willing to.
And then we would think that's what the insurance is for, but...
I know, right?
The insurance is for when you get sick. I mean, I understand their point of view, but like, come on, imagine paying for that on your own.
Exactly. Like, there are people that are capable of doing it or are able to pay, but then there are people that are not capable. What are they supposed to do? This is why I kind of started this purpose or this initiative, basically like to kind of spread awareness about lupus and for people to understand what lupus is, but also gain help from the society. Like, guys, please. And Leana, if I may speak, okay, now that I've introduced what lupus is or what are the diagnoses or the different symptoms that they have, but also there are a lot of issues that we face as lupus patients.
As on day-to-day basis, yani.
A lot.
Okay, like other than, for example, finding appointments, what else can you say, مثلا?
In our personal lives, is it okay for me to
Go, please take.
First of all, a lot of people I know that go to apply for jobs. Okay.
So you have to disclose that you're a lupus patient, obviously, because you might need sick leaves, yani?
A lot of them said, a lot of the girls and gentlemen, by the way, it's not only women, it's women and men. So
but it does predominantly target. Okay. But there are men.
Yes.
There we go.
Yes. And I know them personally, Nu'man as well, and they're not having easy times in their day-to-day life. They complain to me a lot. They send me messages. And it's heartbreaking because I can't do anything, you know?
Yeah.
It got to a point like, I'm sorry, but what am I supposed to do? How can I help? I can only support you emotionally or guide you to doctors. There's a lot of doctors in the private sectors. They tried to help initially. Like, I will treat them for free or I'll give them a checkup for free.
But how much can you do that?
Exactly. Because in the end, it is also their business, you know?
So,
but what I was saying regarding the issues that they face.
Jobs.
A lot of them said, we want to be honest. Maybe, this field or this sector or this company might actually help support us. Like, we would do our job, but then there's a monthly checkup we need to do, or every 3 months, or depending on their
situation. Or in
situation.
the case of a flare-up, مثلا.
Exactly. So a lot of them got refused.
Because of the lupus diagnosis. Okay.
Yes. And the second thing is, when it comes to women, for example, a lot of them either got their engagements called off.
Because of lupus?
Because when the families of the other spouse or, their partner find out, or the partner decides to find out, and they don't take the time to understand what
it is.
Everyone thinks it's a rare disease. I would like to make it clear, it's not a rare disease at all.
Is it maybe just not diagnosed very much because of the difficulty to diagnose it? And that's why people think it's rare?
It is diagnosed. That's the funny thing.
Now these days it's more easily diagnosed.
Depending on the symptoms that the person comes up with and depending on the doctor as well.
So why do people still think it's rare?
Like I said, let's say a guy would go and propose to a girl. And I'm saying these stories out of situations that I've heard and I found out of.
Okay.
The guy would go to propose, okay? And then the girl decides, you know what? I'm going to be honest. I'm going to let you know that this is what's going on. It's called off immediately because they don't take the effort or time
to go and understand what lupus is.
You know, what are the symptoms? Can this person live a normal life or not? They don't. So as soon as they find out this person is ill, it's a call off. And that's not fair.
Definitely. No.
Because there are so many girls that I know. Some are doctors, some are engineers, some are running their own business. And I know girls that actually, you know, they do have families. They have 3 and 4 children and they're the best moms ever. They are there for their husbands. They are there for their house, for their children. And some of them actually do all of this with having their own business and being there for their social community duties, you know? So this is why I, as Mazzan, I'm here today to clearly say, guys, give us a chance. Please.
Try to understand what lupus is.
Exactly. Try to figure out what we have. And another situation, for example, like I said, some of them have it on their skin. Some of it have it on their hair. Like, I constantly say it, yes, I have lupus and this is why I have thin hair. You know, like my hair constantly keeps falling, especially when I get a flare. But there are stories I've heard when women go to the salon.
Okay. Oh, the comments?
Oh my God.
Salon, I'm sorry, like, I love all people who work in salons, but they comment on everything. Oh, your eyebrows, your mouth.
Yeah, the comments, like, oh, you know, like, why are you so careless about your hair? Look at you.
Take this oil, take this. Come do treatment for 500 riyals.
Exactly. Like, really? Are you going to pay for that? I don't. Exactly. If you're going to pay for it, I don't mind.
Yeah, I will do it, even if it doesn't make a difference. 500 riyals probably smells nice.
Yeah, right?
Okay.
Relaxing too, by the way. I think we need that. So, yeah, these are a lot of things that we face. I tried to contact different parts. I've got a lot of support, like I said, from some sectors saying we want to support you.
Okay. I think you do get from the media, for example, because I have seen you, alhamdulillah, in multiple, interviews, events. So, alhamdulillah, I think from that.
Media have been supportive, and a shout out to everyone that has been supporting us.
Alhamdulillah.
But please don't forget us and keep it
going. No, of course we do. We want to. I think it is important.
It is, because look, it's not like I'm degrading from any illness. Everyone has their own issues, their own pain, and I honestly wish everyone good health. And I'm not trying to lessen from anyone's pain, but it's beautiful to see that there are campaigns for cancer, there are campaigns for, you know, diabetes, for blood pressure, for
even for mental health illnesses, many
everything.
times.
Guys, we're here too, you know.
No, that is true. And then, okay, some diseases are less out there than others. Like, again, I will repeat, if you did not tell me about your lupus, or if I did not find out about your lupus page, I've met you many times for more than years now. I wouldn't have known it. And mashallah, you don't even show it. You know, you have your own business. You're very active socially. I know you from trips, like مثلا camping or hiking or things like that, you know. It wouldn't even show if a lot of you don't say it. You guys do need that support. You know, many of you don't even show that you have it.
It's one of the invisible illnesses. It's called an invisible illness because you don't see it unless it's on the skin. Some of them it shows.
Okay.
But most of us, it doesn't show unless
Isn't there like a rash thing that shows? Isn't that
the butterfly rash?
Everyone has it? Does everyone have it?
Most of them, and it happens because we're not supposed to be this is going to be shocking to you, but we're not supposed to be in direct sunlight for long.
I know her from camping, from like being in the sun for too long, from wet hiking Wakan. So like this lady goes on a lot of trips where the sun is involved.
and this is why I keep telling the girls as well. I tell them, know your own body.
Okay.
Understand your body. You know, because I go because I know my limits.
Okay.
I know what I'm able to be in and what I'm like. Obviously I won't go tanning and stuff like that.
not too extreme.
Exactly. But as long as I have my sunblock on, I know my hours, I'm covered kind of, you know. Okay, I'm in the sun, but then I try to go into the shade a bit and come back.
Okay, so you take your precautions.
Exactly.
No, but you do. I did notice that. So when this Jabal Akhdar trip, the first thing you said to me is that I don't want to push myself. I just came out of hospital. I don't want to push myself right now, but next week let's go kayaking. Exactly. You did that. You said I don't want to push my body, you know?
Because I know for a fact that the moment I push my body, that's it. I'm in hospital for months. Why would I do
months?
that? Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes
Okay.
it does go up. Sometimes it's a few days. Sometimes it's a few weeks. Sometimes it's months. But that rarely happens.
Okay.
So this is why I constantly try my level best to tell the girls, understand your body, because no one, not even doctors, are gonna know your body after you're diagnosed as much as you.
Okay.
Know your limits. If it's something you can do, go for it. If it's not,
Don't push it.
Exactly, Leanna, that's another thing I try to tell a lot of the girls. A lot of them, can you believe it, are actually still shy to say that I have an illness. They don't want to talk about it because of the
So they might
community
push
pressure.
their limit يعني, and do something just because they don't want to
Exactly.
say it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because of the community they live in or the pressure they undergo.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, you're ill. So they don't want to show people that we're ill. Fine, don't show it. Don't. It's okay, but it's not something wrong. You should be proud that you have that and you're still able to go and come and walk
Very
and
true.
work. Don't be ashamed of what you have. Be proud of it. Own it.
Okay, that's nice. You mentioned that sometimes you're sick for days, sometimes for weeks, sometimes for months.
Mm-hmm.
How do you keep up, for example, with work commitments?
I love my job because my team are the best.
Okay, so alhamdulillah, you have a supportive team with you.
Exactly. Actually, the funny thing is they contacted me last week and they're like, hey, we want to ask you for something if you're okay with it. I was like, sure, go ahead. They're like, we don't want to push you. We don't want to embarrass you. We don't want to pressure you. I'm like, guys, just say it. What do you want? They're like, do you mind if we celebrate Lupus Awareness Day next
Aw.
week? I think that's so cute.
Oh, that came from them, يعني. That's very sweet.
The marketing team, they were like, do you mind if we celebrate? We want to wear something purple on that day. We want
Okay.
to do some, activities and stuff just to help spread awareness for our clients to know that we have a lupus patient, that's managing a few things in the company and we're proud of you. I'm like, that's so sweet.
That is very sweet. Mashallah.
So
Okay.
this is why I keep saying, I really do hope everyone that has lupus would talk about what they have and their work environment would try to understand, their team would try to understand. Because if you have an understanding team, believe me, you would actually want to do more.
Okay. So even more productivity would come out of you. يعني.
I mean, Liana, I don't mean anything, but you, as, alhamdulillah, a healthy and a normal person with a supportive team, how's your outcome?
100% higher.
Honestly.
Like specifically for me, like I do get very influenced by مثلا like words of affirmation, positive reinforcement, these kind of things.
Exactly. So imagine a person that has a health issue with a supportive team. How do you think that person is, gonna produce?
صح.
They're gonna be like, you know what? I want to do more to show them or to compensate for the days that I was not in the office.
Okay.
That's
So
exactly how
subhanAllah,
I
they
am.
might get even more out of you than if normal يعني.
Exactly.
Okay.
And everyone always says 90% of someone's health comes from the positivity that they get around them or from their thoughts and their mental health.
And you found that to be true in your journey.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I got to a point in 2014. Yeah, 2014 when I got 3 strokes in the brain because I got a flare up.
You got strokes as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's so funny how I'm talking about it now.
No, because you're saying it like I got 3 strokes in the brain, and I'm sorry. Just like when I'm listening to it, it's like, oh, that's pretty traumatic.
I got 3 strokes and
Okay.
I was paralyzed, nose down, completely paralyzed.
For how long?
A year, I think.
For a whole year.
No, so basically I got the strokes and then I remember the doctor came in and he was like, look, I'm sorry. I swear I remember. He was like, look, I'm sorry.
Guys, just we're talking about strokes here. Not
No, I'm laughing because I remember my reaction and I remember how I was down about it. But here I'm talking about it like a cup of tea.
okay. No, go ahead, Yani. Let's hear the story.
So, he comes in and he goes like, look, I'm sorry. I know it's hard. You're young and blah, 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 whatever. And he's like, you won't be able to walk again. You might not be able to work again. You might not be able to drive again. And I was a constant gym person back then. Sometimes I used to even go to the gym twice a day.
Okay.
So he's like, you're not going to go to the gym again.
So you started listing all the things you can't do.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at him. I was on bed paralyzed. I'm looking at him. And guys, sorry, I'm going to say my reaction in Arabic and then translate it. So when he finished, I looked at him. I was like, are you done? He's like, yeah. I'm like, ما على كيفك, which means it's not up to you.
Go, Mazzan.
And my mom and my brother were there, and they were like, Mazzan, that's rude. Don't say that. And he's like, what is she saying? What is she saying?
Oh, he doesn't speak Arabic?
No.
I like it.
This was in Germany.
Oh.
My family took me there.
أعطيتيه.
Yeah. So then when that happened, he's like, what is she saying? And I explained it. I was like, it's not up to you. You don't tell me what I can and what I can't do.
Okay.
And he said, no, but I'm just preparing you just in case, so you know you won't be emotionally down about it. I was like, fine, we'll see about that. And keep in mind, I was starting my first master's degree. So I had to stop. Anyways, fast forward. I was running on the treadmill after 9 months.
Okay.
9 months. It took me 9 months, and I was running on the treadmill. I learned to talk, hold a spoon again, walk again, everything. But yeah, it wasn't the best of experiences, exactly. But the reason I said the story, because if it wasn't for my family, believe me, that wouldn't have happened. Because I remember I wanted to give up and quit so many times. I'm like, no, I can't. I kept telling my mom, I kept telling my brothers, leave me alone, I don't want to continue. And I kept crying, telling my mom that no way I'm going to continue, and I give up, I'm not going to study anymore, I'm not going to do any of this anymore. She's like, listen, I didn't raise a quitter.
ما على كيفك.
Yeah, she gave me that ما على كيفك in return. So yeah, I managed to go back to the gym. I managed to drive again, and I managed to go back to the office. And from being in the HR, I'm now currently working on running or managing the HR department and the marketing department in the company. And not only did I finish one master's degree, I finished 2 other than the other side certificates and license that I got.
MashaAllah.
So yeah, I remember when I finished my master's degree, I went back to the professor that said that. And I was like, hey, remember what you said? He's like, yeah. And I held up my degree. I was like, can you see what this is? He's like,
oh, God.
He's like, yeah. I was like, can you read it? Or do you want me to read it for you? And my mom was like, Mazzan, that's so rude. Stop. Anyway, so I was like, you said I can't. Ha. I graduated and I got it. Do you want to see my graduation pictures?
Do you want to take a picture and hang it on your wall?
So funny thing is, he started laughing. But that's one more thing I'm saying the story for a reason, is that when everything finished, he said it to my mom. He's like, remember the day I walked in and I said everything on that list that Mazzan won't be able to do? My mom said, yeah, she was really hurt. He's like, because before going, I actually read her file and I kind of diagnosed the person that she is. And I realized she's a stubborn head.
Oh, so that he did it on purpose. Okay.
So see how doctors play a role as well. You need to understand your patient. It's not just, hey, you're diagnosed with lupus, take this medication, bye. No, build a connection. I understand you're busy. I understand you have a lot of things to do, but there's no harm in building a connection with your patient. Because keep in mind, if your patient is convinced with what they have and they take their medications, that would be less pressure on you. The patient won't be coming back and forth with a lot of complaints to you. But if the patient doesn't understand the importance of taking the medications, he won't take he or her won't take their medications, and they're going to keep falling in hospital again, and you're going to just get an extra load.
Okay.
So also it depends on you as a doctor.
Okay. So doctors also play a big role.
It's the doctors, the family, the community.
Okay.
And before all of this, it's the patient himself.
Okay, that one thing that hit me a lot, I think it's easier for someone to say what you said, the ما على كيفك, it's not up to you, after you've had time to let the diagnosis settle in. You were told at the time, like, you will not be able to do this, this and that, and your first reaction was ما على كيفك. It shows يعني how, mashallah, powerful of a mindset you have.
Leanna, I was 24.
Yeah, man. I was thinking 2014. That means you were in your 20s.
I was 24. Are you telling me my life ends at 24?
But there's where most people would have, and even me included, maybe. And you break down, and then maybe you'll pick yourself up later. You know from the beginning, like that is stubborn.
Yeah,
Mashallah.
I said that. But then, after everything was done, that's when I broke down.
Okay, but then still that initial mindset and the fact that you had people to carry you through it, that did not let you give up.
Again,
That's a gift. And mashallah, what I like is it's a gift that you acknowledge and that you're very aware of.
this is why, again, as I said in the beginning of this interview, and to kind of, finalize this whole discussion, this is why Mazzan is here today. I got a gift. I probably cannot give financially. I cannot support financially. I cannot support by being there during their infusions in the hospital, or being there with them in their appointments, or even help them get appointments. But what I could do is help spread awareness and help be there emotionally.
Okay.
Hopefully, that might ease out their acceptance of the illness. That might ease out the process and create a stronger will. Because lupus is not going to go today or tomorrow. Lupus is going to be here in Oman for generations.
And there's no treatment. I mean, there's no cure. There's treatment maybe, but no cure.
There is a cure. Our own personalities and our own strong will.
Okay. So did you guys hear the cure for lupus? Mazzan found it.
Come camping with us, guys.
Come camping. Sun exposure. Very good for you.
As long as you know your body, it's okay.
Okay, there we go.
But yeah, lupus is not going away.
Okay. Does it affect, sorry, it's just a question that's on my mind. Does it affect childbirth?
No.
Like women being able to have kids and things? It does not.
No, I have friends that have lupus. I got to know them through Lupus Oman. Mashallah, yani.
Okay.
Some have 3 kids, some have 4.
Mashallah. Okay, so for anyone who thinks that you cannot marry a woman because she will not give birth, that is...
Your loss.
Yeah, your loss. You lost out on someone. Okay, because I did hear that misconception. I was watching a video before coming here. And there was a...
Selena Gomez, guys. See how
Selena Gomez has lupus?
Yeah.
Oh, yo. I did not know that. Okay. That's interesting. No, but... Okay.
Why are you in a state of shock?
I don't know. I didn't know that.
Remember the story where she had to get a kidney transplant? And
yeah. And
that was because of lupus.
That's because of lupus?
Yes.
I remember she took a break off of like everything and social media, and she was sick for a while.
Gain, when people started kind of making fun of
her weight
gain, it's because she had to go on prednisolone, the medication that I was telling you about, and she gained weight because it makes you gain weight.
Because of lupus.
Guys, I am sorry I didn't say a lot of facts about lupus. There are a lot of things that I didn't say. But
you can mention them now if you want to.
No, I mean, like, if there's anything I forgot, anything anyone wants, I'm more than willing to help out anyone that has any inquiries, anyone that wants to know anything.
We're going to put your handle for Lupus Oman for anyone to contact you.
And if there's anything, keep in mind, if there's anything that I personally do not know or I'm not sure of, I promise that I will try my level best to get in touch with actual doctors that can help give them the information that they need.
Okay.
But one issue that I have when it comes to that is that a lot of questions I've been getting from expatriates who I consider family in Oman here have been asking, like, for example, if we want to go get treatment, where can we go? Where can we get this medication? Because a lot of the lupus medication is very expensive.
Okay, but is it found here in Oman?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's available but could be pricey.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're like, we can't afford it, or how can we get through, governmental sectors, and stuff like that. That's one thing I couldn't find a solution for until now.
Okay, so for anyone who's listening who can help,
please, I
help
will be
lupus
grateful.
patients, please.
And I'll be more than willing to say thank you, publicly.
Okay. Are there any, like, this year, Fi Lupus event like the one that you guys had last year?
No, because we didn't get enough support, but we're doing it personally. Like, I'll be speaking in a gym.
Okay. Which gym? Can you say it?
Yeah, if it's okay.
I think so. I can just say it. If it's not, we'll cut it out.
Moves.
Okay.
I'll be speaking in Moves at 5:30, and I also have another interview on
That's
Wednesday.
today?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I also have another interview, and a couple of my friends are doing interviews.
Okay.
It's the girls that I told you about. The three of us, we're trying to move around.
So this year is more about like raising awareness.
Because last year, the previous years, we've been trying to focus on advocating by creating awareness for the patients themselves to take their medications, the importance of taking medications, supporting them, trying to create awareness for their families and how they should support, the family member that
has the lupus diagnosis.
Exactly. This year and inshallah the coming years, our main focus is for the society.
And I think that's big and important for people to realize.
Thank you, Merge.
Anytime. You're definitely welcome back anytime.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Do you have any other questions for me, Leanne?
I like how you analyze now. I actually, wait, I'm thinking. Like, is there anything I'm curious about?
Let me know. It's okay.
I mean, just fair. I will probably cut this long gap out. Okay. Have you ever had to cancel anything, like a commitment, like, for example, an interview or something because of a flare-up?
Didn't that happen to you a few days ago?
It did? Oh, the Jabal Akhdar thing. Okay. And
that's
but you've reached the point where you're adi. Like, you just mentioned that, okay, I have...
Yeah, because, see, I'm adi about it. My family is adi about it too. Sometimes, I feel bad for my family because if it depends on their seriousness. Sometimes it's sudden, it's serious. I'm not even able to text the people and apologize. I'm just taken to hospital. But guys, please understand, this doesn't happen on a daily basis or a monthly basis. This is
how between, for example, one flare-up to another. Yeah, that was a question I had. How often are the flare-ups?
It depends on flare-ups are different. Some are like so tiny. The ones I had a few days ago was joint pain and a kind of feverish feeling.
Then definitely don't come Jabal Akhdar. We were hiking for 2 days in a row.
Exactly. So that's why I was like, no. But then some where I'm hospitalized, so that's worse, where it's an organ getting affected or something. But some I just need rest and stay at home and I'm fine the next day or even by the evening.
Okay.
So this is why I kept saying, and I'm repeating again, know your body. Know your body.
So that's a big thing for someone who has a diagnosis like lupus. Exactly. Know your body.
So in short, basically, lupus patients, a lot of them, they're living, or the feeling they have when living on a day-to-day situation, when you start having a feverish feeling like, oh, I think I'm getting a fever.
Okay.
That's something we live with every single day. That's how we live to us. To us, that's a normal feeling.
Okay, then based on that, because I have a diagnosis in something else.
Okay.
And this does annoy me from time to time. But people do come to me and be like, if you don't think about it, it won't happen. And I'm like, do people come and tell you that comment? Like, okay, because you're putting it in your mind. That's why you're getting the sickness. Have you heard this comment?
Would you hate me if I say that I said this to a couple of
No. Shifi, in certain things, like, for example, if you overthink about it, like, مثلا, beginning of COVID, oh God, I was like, don't even come next to me. Like,
paranoia?
No, big time paranoia. Like, I sneezed. Oh my God, I'm going to die. Like, it was that bad, And I would lock myself up. Like, don't talk to me. It was bad. But obviously, if you overthink something like that, fine. Okay. But I have something else, مثلا, that I know, for example, if I push in a certain way, I will get, مثلا, that asthma reaction and whatever. So I will take my precautions, but then I have people tell me, don't even take the medication because...
Excuse me?
There we go. Don't even take the medication because you take it, you're putting it in your head that you have it, and you don't even need that inhaler. Okay, fine. You go try choking to death when you exercise. But this kind of...
I get that a lot.
Exactly, because I have heard that.
I actually get people saying, why are you even speaking about lupus? Are you trying to get sympathy? Are you trying to get famous because you have lupus? As in, like, getting famous through sympathy? I'm like, guys, completely different situation here.
Someone is trying to do something good, raising awareness, helping others who might have it.
Because the reason, when you asked me, and I said, would you hate me if I told you that I said that? There are, even in our lupus community, some girls that are mashallah, amazing. It's like they don't think about it, but they do take their precautions. They're raising their kids. They're taking care of their families. They're some of them are finishing education. Some of them have high posts in different companies.
Okay.
Some are raising their own, they have their own businesses. They're managing it.
Mm-hmm.
But then yet again, there's another part of that community where they go like, I can't work because I have lupus. I can't go out because I have lupus. I can't get upset because I'm like, excuse me.
Don't use that as an excuse for everything.
Don't.
Okay.
Because then
it will affect your life in that way.
It will. And I don't mean to sound mean, Leanna. I really don't. But it's that kind of mindset that ruins a lot for the people that are actually
that's true.
Going ahead with life and trying to live.
True. No, I agree with that. Like, for example, مثلا, for me, I'm not comparing at all. It's not the same at all. But I'm just to to bring the picture closer.
Yeah.
Asthma, there are athletes, Olympic athletes and proper athletes in other sports who do everything that they do with an asthma diagnosis.
Exactly.
Okay, so for example, for me, like if I go like, no, I can't, I'm not going to be silly and be like, I'm not going to take the medication. I'm not going to take my inhaler. Not like that. However, it's not going to stop me from doing sports. But if I did fall into, I'm never going to the gym again because I was, this is something different. Yeah, so for you guys, I completely agree with you. Like there is a balance in that. Yes, be positive and everything, but don't tell someone like, don't take your medication. Just don't think about it.
We had a lot of girls that initially... you reminded me of a situation. Initially, when we started the group, there were these women that came into the group and they're like, no, you guys should not take the medication. This is basically something that they're coming up with to make us buy medications and, for them to ruin our bodies. I don't know how to explain it, but they were like...
Pharmaceutical companies, the big evil giant. Yes.
Yeah. Them.
Okay.
So some girls actually listened to that.
And they stopped taking their medications.
They stopped. And there were a big bunch of us that were like, guys, it's gonna
affect you
badly. Because, some lupus patients would be fine where they're under remission. Remission means they have to take tiny doses of medications and some no medication at all for a couple of years. But then if a flare-up happens, maybe they would have to adjust their medications or take higher doses of medications. Okay. Some actually take infusions, which is IVs, every month, every 2 weeks, every 3 months. For example, the person currently speaking to you takes an IV every month.
Okay.
I take an IV every month because of lupus. I have to go to the hospital, and it's a full day kind of situation. So I was like, guys, please don't listen. Take your medications. Take your medications. And one of them was like, no, you know what? I'll try, and things like that. By the end of it, like about a year into it, she got a really bad flare-up. And I feel bad, but I'm saying this for people to hopefully
learn as a precaution, yeah.
Not only lupus patients, please, every other patient as well that has any kind of diagnosis in any illness, listen to your doctors. If you have inquiries, if you want to reduce your doses, speak to your doctors. Doctors do listen. Believe me, they do. So when she stopped taking her medications and she's like, yeah, I'm fine, I'm working fine, I'm blah, like going ahead fine.
Initially.
A few months into it, because lupus patients get joint pain. So in winter, we get extremely bad joint pain. In summer, we feel a lot of fatigue.
Okay.
And a bit of joint pain. So that's a common thing we have, by the way.
Okay, this is one of the common symptoms across. Okay.
So a few months into it, her joints are swollen. She can barely walk. They tried to give her medications. They tried to give her painkillers. Leanna, guess what happened?
What?
Her body retaliated to the point that it got allergic to a lot of medications.
Oof. So even now, like to fix it, she can't because she can't take the medications anymore.
Exactly. So they tried fixing it with different solutions and stuff. Alhamdulillah, she's getting better.
But why put yourself through that to begin with? Yeah, I agree with that. Okay.
So, yeah. I guess.
Take your precautions, take your medications. Don't always listen to what everyone says.
Exactly. Do what you think is right.
Know your body.
Before cutting off your medications, please speak to your doctors. If you can't, speak to a friend to ask a doctor.
Okay.
Like maybe your friend can get involved. Speak to your family members. If your family are understanding, speak to them.
Okay.
But don't just cut off whatever you think I don't feel like taking today.
Okay.
Okay. Forgetting your medications every once in a while. I'm not saying it's okay, but we are humans. It happens.
Of course.
I've had lupus since I was 4, and until today, there are days where I forget, and I would remember, like, oh my God, I forgot
my medication. Yeah. Okay.
But it's fine. It happens, but don't cut it off completely.
Especially not on purpose. Okay. Okay. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna put your handle, Lupus Oman, She can help you with any resources that you might need, any doctors, any general questions, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Emotional support. So for anyone who has lupus and you guys have not heard of Mazzan or Lupus Oman, we will make sure to put that in there. Okay.
And guys, doctors, anyone that's listening, please, if you have ways where we could help the expats that have lupus, let me know. And also anyone that knows or can help us registering Lupus Oman so we can help more people, please let us know.
Okay.
And thank you so much, Merge, once again.
Thank you for
you,
joining
Liana.
us.